The Trump administration stands accused of blatant disregard for a court order, sparking a firestorm of controversy and raising serious questions about the rule of law in the United States. The controversy centers around the deportation of 200 immigrants to El Salvador, a move that proceeded despite a clear injunction from Judge James Boasberg to halt the process. Administration officials offered the flimsy excuse that the deportation flights were already airborne when the order was issued, a claim swiftly met with accusations of deliberate defiance of the judiciary. President Trump, while asserting on Fox News that he would never defy a court ruling, simultaneously launched a veiled attack on Judge Boasberg, fueling the already intense flames of this constitutional conflict. This incident comes amidst a series of escalating clashes between the Trump administration and the judicial branch, leading to a rare public rebuke from Chief Justice John Roberts, who criticized calls for Judge Boasberg's impeachment, calls fueled by Trump himself and prominent supporters like Elon Musk. The administration's disregard for judicial rulings extends beyond this single instance. A U.S. District Court Judge, Theodore Chuang, issued a scathing ruling against Musk and his so-called Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, finding them guilty of multiple constitutional violations in their attempts to dismantle USAID. In another case, a court barred the Pentagon from enforcing Trump's discriminatory ban on transgender individuals serving in the military, citing the order's animus. Further adding to the mounting legal challenges, Judge Jesse Furman rejected the administration's attempt to dismiss a deportation case brought by Palestinian activist Mahmoud Khalil, mandating that the case be heard in New Jersey, not Louisiana, where Khalil is currently detained. These escalating confrontations have drawn stark warnings from legal experts who fear a dangerous erosion of the rule of law. The pattern of defiance, they argue, represents a direct assault on the very foundations of American democracy. Michael Luttig, a prominent conservative legal scholar, has declared the nation to be in a full-blown constitutional crisis, emphasizing the president's sustained attacks on the judiciary, the justice system, and the legal profession itself. The seeds of this conflict, some argue, were sown long before these recent events. In a 2021 interview with Politico, Senator J.D. Vance articulated a vision of executive power that brooks no judicial interference, advocating for the wholesale firing of civil servants and a direct confrontation with the judiciary, echoing the defiant stance of Andrew Jackson. Vance doubled down on this sentiment in a recent social media post, arguing that judges overstepping their authority by interfering with executive actions is both illegal and unconstitutional. He drew a false equivalence between a judge dictating military strategy and a judge reviewing executive actions, implying that judicial review itself is an unwarranted intrusion on executive power. This perspective, while alarming in its disregard for the principles of checks and balances, is indicative of a broader trend within the Trump administration and its supporters to minimize the role of the judiciary and maximize the power of the executive branch. The ongoing clash between the executive and judicial branches represents a profound threat to the American system of governance. The repeated disregard for court orders, coupled with the rhetoric employed by the administration and its allies, paints a deeply concerning picture of the state of the rule of law in the United States. The implications of allowing such blatant disregard for judicial authority to continue unchecked are far-reaching and deeply troubling. The erosion of trust in the judicial system, coupled with the normalization of executive overreach, creates a fertile ground for authoritarian tendencies to take root. The question remains, will the American people and the institutions designed to uphold the Constitution stand up to this blatant disregard for the rule of law, or will the increasingly authoritarian leanings of the Trump administration prevail? The answer will have profound consequences for the future of American democracy. The weight of history rests on the shoulders of those charged with upholding the Constitution, and their response to these unfolding events will determine the course of the nation for generations to come. The ongoing crisis demands immediate attention and decisive action to safeguard the core principles of American democracy and the separation of powers. The very fabric of American governance hangs in the balance.